I just wanted to say, I just wanted to say a quick thing. The Vibrant Community Initiative grant, I heard chagrin, why only Cheeseboro Ponds? That was because Alan applied, okay? It does not mean we can't look at Main Street. VCI, there's another round coming up, and we can look at Main Street. There is not an unlimited supply of historic preservation money, and you have to, and you also have to own. If the owner, I mean, Alan and I are facing that right now with Cheeseboro Pond. The owner has to cooperate. Okay, I mean, you can't get anything done. You're in that frustrating moment. What we've been able to do with VCI in some cities, and we hope to be able to do it here, is to bring them to the table. And a VCI grant, I've noticed, I just came from Waterford, the historical society there in the town have almost never talked. And the VCI grant brought them together. And just like Kip said, you guys are all here. I mean, you know, and it's a credit to Alan. Alan led a lot of this stuff, but all I'm saying is we're here to help, and there is another round of VCI, so we can talk to Alan, we can maybe scheme something up, you know?
What we haven't talked about, and it was my next question. There's a lot of placemaking things that towns have done. Just very successful things that don't necessarily relate to storefronts. It's the activities that take place that bring people to town. It's the places in town that attracted us to live here. The beaches, the waterfront, and making those exciting places to be in, having events there, layering the events and places so that when people come to town for the church fair, they stay in town. They go down to the waterfront. You run a shuttle bus those days, and you take people to the waterfront, and you take them to the town, even take them to the town, it's the town beach, but take them there and show them what we have. I mean, and there are a million. One of the things we said we do tonight is just talk about ideas and opportunities. And John, you want to, if people have ideas, you want to take them, you want to come up and take them down?
Sure.
Because, you know, things that we could do. I mean, I've talked until I've been blue in the face to people in this town about things like, we talked once about a sing-along at the town beach. We talked about international night, you know, because we know there's a dynamic taking place, population dynamic. Why don't we celebrate it instead of denying it? You know, we have people who are the contemporary version of the people who moved here in the 70s. They're moving out of the city, so they're looking for first homes. We have them. And actually, they don't want loft apartments. They want single-family homes in many cases. That's their dream. We have those houses. If we celebrated that population, you know, they'd come here and they'd say, hey, you know, the point about that Kip made about being welcome. You know, you celebrate diversity at the beach. That's where I first saw it. I took my granddaughter to the beach, and I was seeing all these mixed couples with Asian children, and, you know, total diversity. That's happening in this town. So why don't we celebrate it? And you know, and let people know that, hey, we're open to this stuff. So, ideas, just things that not only you might like done, but you might like to be part of making happen, because that's the important thing here. We don't need one idea. We need a lot of ideas, and just a group that says, I'm interested in doing this, and I'm going to put together 5 or 6 or however many people, and I'm going to make it happen. We talked with the arts community, and look what's happening.
I'll tell you.
I'll tell you, it's fantastic.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Tell us.
Well, first of all, we have this very nasty little group that Alan was very instrumental in getting together to put an art project. And we have no money, all we have is a ton of enthusiasm. And during the Christmas in Clinton, we had a pop-up gallery on Main Street, which was open for a weekend or so, an enormous amount of work. And we were going to do no money. We funded it ourselves, so to speak, well, we really did. And then we got to talk at one of our meetings, well, let's do this again on Memorial Day, because I have to say that Freeman Smith, as a landlord, he has been wonderful to us. He's the building that Cindy has her gallery in. and that our gallery is, right between the biker bar, you know, we're sort of racing them on either side.
Scottish State.
But I'm sure we'll all be fine. And, but anyway, today we decided that, no, we're not just going to do it for a weekend or a week. So we're having, for the entire summer in Clinton, on Main Street, a pop-up co-op gallery.
Here, here.
We've got 10 really dynamic artists from all over the place. We had Claudia Van Ness, who started and founded Maple and Maine. She's there with us. Beverly Schermeyer, who's the president of the Madison Art Society, et cetera, et cetera. So we have people, turns out to be all women. We almost had a guy, but we have women from mostly up and down the shoreline, and we just got together for the first time today and did some arranging for how we're going to hang. And what we're doing is and I think that Bob Caracci just got us started on being incorporated. Yes, yes, which means we can actually fundraise. But we've got 10 artists. We're going to be open all summer, hopefully Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 1 to 6. We are planning, we've got all kinds of exciting plans to coordinate things with Cindy and her gallery.
That's great. That really is good. I think we ought to, just for purposes of time.
Oh,
Yeah, I will, pop-up co-op gallery. There's one other one that we had as a committee too, and that was Thursdays. That was, if it's Thursday, it must be Clinton. And you mentioned the day Thursday on there, and a lot of things happen in this town on Thursdays
yes, Cindy
anyway.
was talking about
We've
that
got the concerts in the summer. A lot happens here on Thursday. It was also just a gimmick, marketing gimmick, actually, of finding a way of owning something to have everything around to hit that critical mass Alan was talking about. If we're going to have 3 or 4 things done in a week, why don't we do them on Thursday night? And have a lot of reasons for people to come into town from a lot of different kind of activities, a lot of different interests. So I'll just write that up there, just for Thursdays, okay?
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
We've heard that the Stanton House is not gonna open on, it gets around. Stanton House is gonna open on Thursday night too. The farmer's market is gonna be on Thursday nights. All of a sudden, that's the idea.
What we need to do is also have a brochure, I think, and a website that people can share on Facebook, share with their friends, pass around, which you don't have right now. And the Chamber of Commerce, people don't immediately go to it.
It's an awful website. That's not even worth being called.
Facebook, website.
Facebook is a disease.
We have a communications problem in this town, serious communications problem.
On the same idea as the pop-up clock gallery, I've been to fundraisers like at High Hopes, and they have all those vendors who do like boutique oils and
A market.
whatever.
Like
And
a crafts
so-
thing?
Yeah,
Crafts
crafts,
and
but sort of not, you
High-end
know,
art, high-end crafts.
yeah, candles and I mean, I don't know, teas, whatever.
It's like a portable thing? I mean, it's.
Well, years ago in Provincetown, there was a building, same idea of shared working space, where there was a building where people would have, it's kind of like the Clinton antique
The
thing.
same building every week though, or something?
Or no, well, they did it all the time, but yeah, so that they would have a place, so if somebody says, oh, I liked those lotions, there's a place all the people who do those craft fairs and fundraisers and things can give a card out and tell them, if you want to find this here, if you want to tell, because a lot of them can only work online, or at least that's what they told me.
Thanks.
In New Haven, they do a great thing at the farmer's market. They have a lot of craftspeople, and not New Haven, in London. And they take stuff on consignments, so that, nobody can sell enough to really justify spending the time there. But the people who run the farmer's market, the group that takes that stuff on consignment. I mean, that's what, you layer stuff on there. They also have this arrangement with the London Foundation, which contributes money so that anything, if you qualify for the new equivalent of food stamps, you get a chip when you use that at the farmer's market that allows you to double your purchases. I mean, it's really fantastic because it opens up local food to people who otherwise couldn't afford it. I mean,
They did
The
that
thing
in
is, there's a
Boston,
million
too.
great ideas out there. We just have to pick a bunch of them and start doing them.
Go ahead.
Hi, I'm a summer person. So, it would be great to have a little outreach. It would be great to not be a summer person, but to be another person who owns property in Clinton. But there's a divide. There's an attitude. You know, I don't usually say it. I utilize the dog park a lot. I would never say, oh, I'm just here in the summer, because, you know, I want to be accepted here. But I think that there's a lot of potential if you could tap in to the summer people, if you could make them part of the Clinton community. Because, you know, financially, there's some money there. There's a lot of young people there. My mother's owned a house in this town for 51 years, so I've been coming, and we rented before, so I've been coming here for 52 years. I love Clinton. I bought a house in Clinton. I'm going to retire to Clinton. Because Clinton, to me, when they talked about a place that's home, Clinton is home. And why am I here? Because of Lynn. Because I love the Henry Carter Hall Library. I
She's a
love
visual.
the original one,
She's an
and now this one.
Is there-
This
is
is
there-
home.
Is there anything that exists right now from all the non-permanent residents of how they're connected, other than just the fact that they live next to each other for 3 months a year? I mean, is there any associations or?
There is in Clinton Beach, there's
And,
a
yeah,
Clinton
and-
Beach
and there's
Association.
also, you know, because there's the whole
And then Beach Park.
sewer thing,
Yeah.
you know, there's all that there. So there is a group of people that meet and talk about it. Also because they've changed the floodplain, and that's
Right.
had so much effect, and the FEMA, and the taxes, and the home, you know, there's just so many things, and it'd be so much better if it could be one big dynamic group instead of an us-them. I mean, I remember like on Labor Day being in a friendly, and somebody saying, okay, now we get our town back. You know, so, and that was a nice thing.
And you're
What could we do to make you feel more welcome?
I mean, I don't know, you know, I just don't, I mean, maybe not say something like that.
We give you Eat Fresh in Clinton.
You know, like, I mean, Bluefish Festival, I've always gone, I mean, I don't know.
No, you're right. And then last year, when we were just kind of dissecting targets for 350, it was this very important, I mean, if you really kind of dissect the targets of town, there's current residents, future residents, summer residents, current business owners, future business owners. You really kind of dissect this thing down. It's just very hard to find those people. We don't even have a patch anymore in this town. I mean, this thing's ridiculous, whatever they call that thing.
Yeah.
So it's very hard, but I think it's important that any of the, for instance, the pop-up in the summer, it would be really interested if they made outreach to the artists that come here for only 3 months a year and had them join the Art Society as summer residents.
Yeah.
As if the Historical Society did the same thing. They made an outreach for this. I mean, some way they gotta come into the existing kind of organizations that are in town. It can't be just something special for them.
No, right.
But
No, but you
invite
can do
them.
things that are special. You do events that are tailored to those markets, those segments of the community. Get them to come to the town beach. You know, I was a summer resident for a while, and I took my grandchildren.
But you did the
to
movie
children's
from
day.
Movies on the town beach would be so great. I would
Those
be.
kinds of
But
things.
it's not-
You have to reach out to people.
But it has to go both ways, because I think one of the challenges is that townspeople don't have access to the beaches
Right.
in that area. We have the beach that's on the harbor. And so that might be a place where people would normally come into contact with each other.
Right.
But it's kind of like, if you have access to the beach and the sound, a lot of activities happen there that aren't really open to other parts of town. And so I don't know if there's a way for people living on the beach to maybe welcome townspeople as well to that part of, you know, to a part of town that has actual beach, like sound front instead of, because I think that, yeah, I mean, or harbor front, yeah, that has, you know, so I feel like I agree that there's this division and tension, but there.
That's in all towns though that
Oh, no, I know, but a lot of towns,
Thank
no,
you.
but other towns,
Yes.
I think we're the only one that doesn't have a town beach on the sound, like Madison has what, 3, Westbrook has, Saybrook has.
Water
Not on the
No, we
sound.
don't.
It's on the harbor,
It's
it's
on the
not on
harbor.
the sound. and it makes a
And it's
difference.
got,
Big difference.
I think this is endemic to any town that has summer residents, whether you're in Cape Cod or
but
Marco
one thing she
Island,
had
you
said
know?
was have movies at the
Let's
beach.
identify.
We identify them.
Deep River has that.
So my question is, how do we best communicate with you?
You know, the library is used by everybody, I believe.
Yeah.
The gym in Clinton, which is a fabulous gym.
The Snaps Gym or the one, the one down here, the boat gym?
By
The one
Madison.
where the old movie theater used to be by the subway.
Yeah, by McDonald's.
Odd lot, yeah.
Do you go to Subway?
I love Subway.
But one thing she said was in Deep River does it, they have movies on the beach, which I think is a good idea.
We have that.
You know, the
We had it here?
cafe they open up at night.
Oh.
You have more questions?
I'm just saying, she's suggesting she wants to be integrated into the community and that the entire summer population might also welcome that, and I'm trying to figure out how to do that.
Yeah, so how, I mean, to let them know, so I mean, these are places that they go, but I think if, we always used to go to the concerts, you know, at the elementary school in
Yeah.
town.
Right, but I'm trying to think of a real communication vehicle. I mean, is
I
there,
can tell people I know.
and if there were willingness to convene a kind of a town
It's-
meeting
it's
that
on the
said,
street
let's
kind of
try to
stuff.
bring the summer people together with permanent residents and have a conversation.
That's a good idea.
You know, but there
would be
is
a lot
a
of
group
attendance.
of like associations that meet. I mean,
Well, you know,
I don't
if you
how that
take
works.
the Facebook and some other, like, some social media, and you actually found some way, because we can find these people, and basically it's tax base minus voting records. I mean, you can kind of wash them out, you can find out who's summer residents.
But they
I'm
can't
actually trying to
vote
find a
for
way,
the
but then, the other side, the summer residents have to actually start being liking on the Facebook page. There's gonna be things on the Facebook that actually talk about this. We ask to come and visit you, use your beaches, and go.
Well, they're not gonna do that.
I mean, it's easy to identify the people who are taxpayers who get billed outside of Clinton. That's a snap. The thing is then, how do you, and a lot of them are renting their places out to people. They're not there all summer.
Yeah.
So part of it is one of the things that I think would appeal to them is we want to make Clinton friendly to the people you're renting to, or to you when you're here.
They get part of the package.
They get part of the package. But they're very easy to define. I mean, it's,
That would be like a brochure though, if you're renting
Right.
out your place, you leave a brochure, and this is the events, the, you know, standard.
right, you have a monthly thing that goes in those homes.
Sandy, Luke.
Well, no, Alan was saying it before, is we have to keep creating these events and have them be consistent, so that eventually the buzz will get around, hey, this was really great, they do it every blah, 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 you know, every first Saturday of the month, or every week, you know, Thursday hopefully will be a big day, maybe, you know, they'll include lots of other things, you know, at the farmer's market, the art society can do a wet paint out, and then eventually some of the people who aren't always integrating can, you know, start rubbing shoulders and communicating, and it maybe will snowball over time, but it's coming up with consistent events that aren't, oh, we're having it today, and then the next time people go to it, it's gone.
Yeah.
John?
I think that's a good idea, a good topic that she brought it. You know, we are saying we have summer people, but most summer people, they own the property in Clinton. They're all our family. It's a good idea to make a picnic with them when they are coming. We should announce them at the beach. Everyone, they bring their own dishes, the food, welcoming. We talk about, we have a speaker from the town. I think it's a good idea. We should be more united. We are all Clintonian. Thank you very much. She said that I'm working here, I bought the property, I'm going to retire here, I'm going to die, you're dying here. You know, they're all, honestly, no. That's the nature, you know. That's the nature. We are all living for the kids. Kids are our future, you know. I think we should bring more love, more peace to others. You know, people, they are coming soon, the next couple of months, someone's coming, we are saying, I did hear, some of people, they are coming, who are they? You know, we should meet with them, we should talk with them, we should welcome them, who we are, you know, it's a good idea.
music is always a good thing. If someone was talking about how there was music in front of the driftwood or something like that one night, or, I mean,
Yeah.
music is just.
Music on the street.
I wouldn't mind making a plug for the George Flynn Classical Concert Series, which is celebrating its 17th year, and as far as we know, there is no other similar organization anywhere. A gentleman from town made this extraordinary gift to the town, and in so doing, for the last 17 years, we've been providing these concerts at no charge to the audience, bringing in world-class artists. And we will be having, you can put this on your calendar now, August 17th, we are bringing in a 12-year-old phenomenon named Emily Baer, who's been featured on all the television shows. And she is a brilliant pianist and composer, and she will be performing with a jazz quartet at Town Hall on August 17th. And we just crave it when the whole town turns out for these things. And they're really, it's just wonderful. There's no.
But you talk about the summer people, there's more than like 2,000 people, they are coming to Clinton, we would like to see them at the beach. The nice weather, they're coming, they're
They have
doing
their own
vacation.
George Flynn is a draw for everybody. It's just we ought to make sure that we let the people know.
There's another thing. I went to the concert at Town Hall. People came, they drove, they got in their cars, and they left. So what do you do to pick up those people? Once they're there, you have food trucks someplace. What do you do to make,
Exactly.
Kip mentioned Buffalo. Buffalo has this big project downtown called Larkin Square. They have a director of fun. She happens to be the owner's wife, but notwithstanding, she has this great sense that you want to make this experience pleasant, fun, interesting, intellectually interesting, musically interesting, artistically, historically. So how do you layer these things? The trick is to layer these activities together in a way that keeps people that really engages them in the community in some way. It was wonderful to see all the people, very few of whom I recognized, and they got in their cars and they left.
Alan, and I've said this repeatedly to you, we need places for them to congregate, like restaurants, cafes, bistros. The entire downtown could become that, so that we could retain these out-of-towners that come in for one time only, get in the car and leave. We're trying to make that happen in some fashion. One of the things that I've been beating the drums on is we need a wastewater solution. You can't have too many restaurants downtown if you don't arrive at a wastewater solution.
That's big, but that's heavy timber right now.
That's heavy timber.
Real heavy timber. I mean, because it is right, but I mean, some of the things we can do now.
Couldn't we ask the Flynn concert people, because people call in and you send them their tickets. Could we develop a brochure that says, come before the concert to Chamard, which come after the concert to Chamard, for a summer concert. Aqua on the Water is a wonderful place.
No,
Bringing the
we can do a
family,
promotion
come to
with
Chips.
all the
We have a
restaurants.
world-class
Do a
Chinese
simultaneous
restaurant
promotion.
and stuff. Couldn't that
Yeah, it should be,
brochure
but also
accompany
that's-
their tickets?
The Chamber of Commerce should be doing that, not to say that, let them do it, because if they're not doing it, that is something that the Chamber should be, that's exactly in the core sweet spot of what the Chamber of Commerce should be doing, is taking advantage for all their members of all these people that happen to have money in their pockets. So, but then they're not, so whatever not, it's a good idea, we'll write it down, but we should talk to whoever the Chamber of Commerce person is now.
We don't have one.
We don't have one.
I wanted to speak to your point about, growing more, and sometimes you hear the argument, well, we don't want to have too many restaurants in town because we wouldn't need, but Chester is a perfect example. Their whole street, that's all there are almost, is restaurant, and they're fabulous restaurants, and go day or night, people are walking the streets, and next thing you know, you got a boutique here and a boutique here, and your street is full, and your restaurants are full.
Restaurant and art.
Yeah, everything, yeah. It all, but, you gotta get a few going and get a vibe going, and then everyone's gonna be fighting for the places, so that we don't.
Can you put down repurposing the academy building? Because I think,
Good idea.
It's next to the church.
the possibilities are endless. You talk about holding people after an event in town that could be an open arts center. You could, as Larry just said, you could have, serve wine or appetizers, or the possibilities are endless.
It's easy.
You,
And
all
you
you
can light
need
it
is,
up at night, so people know something's going on.
and it's right in the heart of downtown. To quote this guy, it's in the village.
Yeah.
But the
Exactly.
social service.
They're moving.
They're
Oh, they're moving,
They're all,
okay.
they're moving
That's
into
yes.
the old PD.
I was really inspired about the question that Kip asked about what place made you.
Yeah.
And wasn't that a great question? I mean, we could all come up with answers. And I was thinking, I was lucky enough to go to college in New England, and I'm also thinking about the history of this town, and supposedly Yale University started here. Wouldn't it be great if Yale had a branch in the Harbor building
Yeah.
as a campus, and people from Clinton get a real break on tuition?
They've just come around having a branch in New Haven.
I think we'll get the wastewater treatment done before that, Don't you? Yeah. Yes.
It seems to me that we're talking around a central issue, which is what are the points of pride in Clinton? What are the things that we know were unique about? Whether it's the starting of Yale, the first class was definitely, even though Branford and Old Saybrook can make claims to Yale starting, the first classes did start here in Clinton, Connecticut. So we have that. We have one of the few opera companies that's here.
Yeah.
We have the George Flynn concert. We have Hammonasset. We have our own little beach. It's just an amazing array.
We have
a
the town
tremendous
hall,
number-
Patsy.
Historically, people who were writers and artists came here. Eleanor Roosevelt came here. There's so many people and celebrities and individuals who made their mark here in Clinton and were inspired by Clinton. So it's kind of figuring out the points of pride, celebrating those, having events at those places and with those people, and conversations and lectures and presentations and concerts and art shows. All of that goes around. So you're looking at the unifying factors, whether you're part of the beach community or summer community, or we can look as many issues that divide us. I don't care what community you're talking about, but they're far more that unify us. So how do we find those, the bricks and mortars that bring us all together in events, in places, and people? I am struck, I'm a newcomer, relatively speaking. My great-grandfather was not buried in the graveyard here by a long shot. And in fact, I'm first-generation American. So the fact is that I was struck in moving here that perfect strangers talked to me on the street in my neighborhood. Perfect strangers. I felt at home here immediately. How many communities can boast of that? That's real. That's what Kip was talking about. We have something here. We have a community already. How do we broadcast that in a way? Through programs, through the development of our buildings, the restoration of our history, which is amazing. We have an amazing number. I think we have, frankly, those of you who might live near Madison, Madison has fewer 18th century houses than we do in Clinton. It's a remarkable place. So I think it's how we celebrate what we already have and note that as a point of pride.
People are gonna meet us by coming here for some reason.
Right, and then you
So, I mean,
take
I
it from
think,
there.
and that's,
Right.
I mean, the thing is, try us, you'll like us,
Right.
and so come here and visit.
But the harbor,
All the water.
It's in that walkability.
No, I was just gonna say that, I went to,
Yeah.
I can't remember what, it was a good play at the town hall. But I sat in that auditorium and I didn't know anybody. There was nobody there from Clinton. Because a lot of the kids, it was Sound of Music. And it was all kids, And so a lot of them were from Madison, Guilford, Branford, blah, blah, blah. So their families were there. I had such pride in that auditorium of ours. I mean, the whole building is amazing. But you sat there, no other town has. I mean, I don't think any of the neighboring towns have anything. That's why they come and hold their plays here. But I mean, maybe you could do more in the town hall. I mean, we try to with Christmas in Clinton, and people come out.
But that's
Christmas in
the
Clinton
thing.
just keeps getting bigger.
Christmas in Clinton, this is a touchy subject, but the Bluefish Festival, whatever it is now, could be a lot better. but does that say the town only has to have one festival a year? So, you know, just because the Bluefish Festival has the hottest weekend in July, they own that, then, you know, there's not to say something, you couldn't have a Labor Day festival every year. You could have it before the summer people leave. We tried to do the 350 last year, was have it so it would happen coinciding that everybody was in town for Labor Day weekend. But, you know, there is a big, you could do another big thing besides the Bluefish Festival. Maybe someday some warrant it, maybe it changes it, but that's the kind of thing where, you know, you own the town, you own the media, you put a parade on again, you put up a band, you put on a play, you have I mean, the whole thing could be there, and everything could come together in one, and galvanizes the whole town for that one weekend, in addition to all this stuff.
Excuse me, does the Bluefish Festival have to be in the hottest day of the year in July? I mean, eating chowder then is not fun, right?
No, it's,
It used to be in August, when the Bluefish ran.
That's
right.
right.
But I guess that was hotter.
Especially in a parking lot.
When
Yeah.
we did the charrette back in the wintertime, somebody, and I had the amazing idea, why don't we have the Clinton Blues Festival and have a weekend of blues bands? It would be so
That
cool.
was Joe, the Boy Scout guy.
Tom Riccio.
Tom Riccio.
Okay.
Is it changing it?
Isn't that great?
That's
That's
Blue, but maybe, that was it, I thought that was great.
Blues.
Put it down on the list.
Yeah.
We're not throwing out
Ross
ideas,
Tucker?
we're just
Ed Elliott?
taking them all.
But you know, when I think of what
Yes.
would draw me into a town would be like a cute place to eat or drink. Like a cute little sandwich place, a cute little espresso place, a wine bar, like Guilford has that, you know, that's why I like to go to
Right.
Guilford, and then there's all the shops. You know, West Hartford Center has all the restaurants, and you have to have, if people are gonna go, then maybe they'll go to the auditorium, or maybe they'll go to this event or that event, but then they are gonna leave, because there's
Right.
nowhere to go hang. So there's gotta be some kind of, even if they're like maybe food trucks, I don't know, there's places that are just like all food trucks and people congregate.
There's a classic model. It was a place that started in Santa Cruz in California called the Common Ground. And it was just that place where you could drop in, you knew your neighbor was gonna be there. It ran probably 16 or 18 hours a day, from coffee in the morning to light lunches, to art displays, music at night. It was the thing that brought people, the place that brought people together. You know, we have cheap, we have cheap space.
Right down.
We could do it someplace.
But
We might
again,
have to
Alan,
have
how do you
paper
start
plates.
that? How, you know, what's the first step?
What kind of businesses fit into the town? Now, that is the other thing.
Alan, maybe a great spot for that is where everyone had suggested previously, the old police station, which has been renovated, right there. Central part of town, beautiful view of the harbor. People come down, park, have a little drink or something, walk around town. We've had that conversation before.
Yes.
But one other thing I was gonna say, since we're talking about having events, trying to bring people down to the downtown, to enjoy our downtown, someone mentioned with regard to town hall, you know, we have this beautiful town hall, this beautiful facility in the middle of this town campus with the church across the street and the Stanton House and the Academy building. How about if we have movies in town hall every Thursday night in the summertime?
Film Society.
You know, in Newtown has a beautiful little town center, you know, where the flagpole is. They have movies in their town hall. And it's kind of a quaint town tradition.
Especially in the summer.
Yeah, exactly.
In the winter, it would be so bad.
Usually, all year, but summer
Year-round.
is-
You know, if it's gonna be Thursday in Clinton, it's gonna be, you're gonna have to think of something for the winter too.
Coffee afterwards, discussions. These are not complicated ideas. Somebody has to take a little entrepreneurial interest.
Yeah.
Sometimes they turn into businesses too.
Anything else?
Yes, you're listening.
I think one of the things also, when you, my own concern is there's a lot of committees in this town, and nothing really gets done a lot. It's kind of one of those, there's a lot of things going on. I think how we manage this, for instance, I think really getting Rod, it's Rod, right? Ron?
Yeah.
That's a walk around. I mean, that's like item number one. We definitely get this lady down here. We definitely walk around, have him look at the town too with a fresh pair of eyes. Because, you know, a lot of stuff we want to do is really hard to do. You won't be getting restaurants and nice little Guilford Light cafes and places like West Hartford in here for a while yet. But to Jane's point, if something happens immediately, just even on the design committee, people put new signs up. People turn the shark shirt shack or whatever it is down. Having that all of a sudden light up and put a sign out in front that says there's life. You know, the only evidence of life is growth. Things happen, you know. So I think that's it. But we got to focus this a bit, and we probably do need a core group of people coming out of this that's going to manage it. I mean, you know, you can't do things with huge groups of people, but there's certainly something to be a groundswell if everybody wants to do this. We got to do two things. We have to do two things between now and Labor Day. I mean, now Memorial Day. We got to get this walk around in 2 weeks, kind of thing.
And every time you go into Malone's, ask her to stay open later.
Yeah, of course it's there.
Every time you go to Malone's, ask if
I
they'll
have
stay open.
a little,
Oh, yeah.
She's
we
working
have
herself to go now.
so much beauty in this town as far as the old homes, the town hall is beautiful, and so on. When you drive through town, I want everyone in this room to take note of all the signs that are parked, which way, every way.
Yeah.
There's 3 and 4. Now, each building has a sign, you know,
That's all
hardware
they
store,
need.
but then you've got,
Yeah.
you know, this and that,
Sandwich
and graduates
boards
and so on. It's a total distraction from the beauty in this community.
Right, and Encore
And
has.
it's a real bugaboo of mine.
No, but there's two things. One is just the way they all look. There is no standard.
No, I'm
No,
not using,
But
they're
the
all,
sandwich boards are ugly.
they
They
are.
just are ugly.
And there are
It's
zoning
too
regs.
much
And Selma would know because
Someone
there's
can enforce it.
the law anyway.
This is a common thread, and I've heard it repeatedly. Planning and zoning is addressing the sign issue. We have a new ZO, we're gonna have a conversation about it. We're reviewing the signage regulations because there are an awful lot of what we refer to as temporary signs that just pop up willy-nilly all over the place.
And
And
they
they really
stay
shouldn't
forever.
be appearing on town properties. So we're gonna review, and we've already taken that step, so that you all know, to try to change that and then enforce the new regulations once they go into place. And that's, you know, it's not something that we're not aware of. Part of the constraints are, you know, the freedom of speech, arguments that people will make. So we have to be very careful. We have, and I'm proud of this fact, that we hired a brand-new ZEO, zoning enforcement officer, who was a partner at a land use firm, probably one of the preeminent land use firms in the state of Connecticut. He decided he didn't want to be a lawyer anymore, and he's now our ZEO. And he's terrific from what I've seen so far. His name is Eric Knapp. You know, don't overwhelm him with your signing.
Go in, that's important, that's important, that people go in and ask questions about signs or
I
light
did
or.
go downstairs in the town hall about a year
Right,
ago,
but I mean,
and I did not get
I'm
any
not
satisfaction.
telling you,
One of the reasons
there's
we
2
have
dozen
a
people here that
ZEO.
march into his office and overwhelm him with the sign issues, but he's aware of it.
And so have we resolved who's the blight enforcement officer now?
No, we have not. The blight enforcement officer, Willie Fritz and I had a conversation prior to our hiring of the CEO, and the conversation went something like this: maybe you ought to separate the task of blight enforcement officer from the ZO position that previously had handled the blight enforcement. And Willie says, I'm gonna think about it, and that's a good idea, let's see what we can do about that. And there are several candidates could be tapped on the shoulder to do the enforcement, blight enforcement, ordinance enforcement. And I don't know what he's resolved to do. I suppose I could talk to him again and see what he's decided, to answer your question, Kurt.
Well, you know, there's a balance as far as, you know, you're talking about you want better businesses in town and things like that also. And there's a balance where a sign's gotta be. And we have 5 open locations in Post Office Square. You know, and I understand, the signs aren't appealing, things like that, but then again, you want nice businesses in there and things like that. And the people who wanna rent these places out wanna put signs up. and they want to get the most they can for the traffic they can, so there's a balance there. So
Well, at the very
it's great,
least-
you wanna take all the signs away? No business,
No,
or not good
business.
business that
That's
you
not
want.
the idea, but what I'm particularly struck by is the temporary signs that pop up, mowing and this and that and the other,
Yeah.
all over
Yeah.
the place.
If it's local businesses, please be discreet, if it's local businesses trying to get someone to turn the corner or something like that, to look at my shop or something. I mean, you know, we gotta,
I
we want
understand
business
that
here, we want people, we want those
we're
nice
trying to
shops and
strike
things
the
like that,
balance.
but
We
you're
are striking the
searching.
balance as
If
best as
people,
we can.
you know, one of the things that's part of this we haven't talked about is sort of what people call wayfaring. Letting people know that if you're gonna get to that parking lot, one of the ways to get it is to go down Post Office Square, so that people drive down there and they see the sign that's hanging on the building. Because otherwise they drive right past the parking and they just drive past Clinton. So, you know, and we need to do that to get the right traffic onto Route 1 and the wrong traffic off of Route 1. We need to give directions to the waterfront, to the beach, to all those, the historic buildings, all those resources. I think one of the things that Christina and I ought to do is put our planning consultant, we ought to map the assets. You know, just, we have the historic houses, they're all
The
mapped.
harbor.
You know,
harbor.
let's do it, you know these maps, the placemat maps that highlight the assets of the town.
That's great.
Something like that would be a good idea. Give them to the restaurants that we have.
No, but you're right about that. I mean, signs are there to make business, and businesses are, that's what it is. And it's one of those really touchy, weird things. It's all great, you know.
Like I said, there's gotta be balance
It
somewhere.
is balanced. I mean, we had a design review committee, somebody came in and it was for leg waxing and big bikini waxing. And they had a picture of some girl lying down with a leg showing, so we said, I think people know what bikini wax is, the sign should have that, but you can get rid of the legs.
Right.
You know, we had no power to do this because it was a temporary sign, and they did. They took it off because it just made it, you say bikini wax, people know what that is or what these things are called. You didn't have to show the thing to it. You could, but every sign, if we could address it with that kind of just thinking about it for a minute, not this adversarial role with people. Guy has a plumbing shop, he's gotta have people stop on Route 1 to get in there, fine, but you know, maybe you don't have to have it in purple, you know, maybe you could just, you know, people are gonna read it, so. Each one of those has to be taken care of. I think what Anselmo was talking to, it's kind of like the litter of some of these signs stuck in the wrong Route 1. I mean, they put them there, I don't know who these people are, that's not their property, they just kind of like fall into the sky everywhere, you know? So it's,
And a lot of those little signs are not legal and it can be enforced.
Yeah, they can be pulled up.
right.
The other thing that I noticed is that we have a lot of people enjoying the sidewalks.
I don't know, everything.
And we have a bunch of schools very close by. We really need a sidewalk that goes the length of Liberty, because the kids are skateboarding on the road and walking in the road and so on. And there's a section of Liberty that does not have a sidewalk. And then it would be nice if we could just do a loop. So you go up Liberty, you go down, Glenwood, thank you, and then back down to town. It would be a beautiful walk for, you know, people who want to get exercise. You're right in the center of town again. They wind up there, whatever.
Call Luke M1.
We don't even have sidewalks on US 1. We're trying to
Yeah.
address the sidewalks with our next 10-year plan of conservation development. We've got BPAC, bike and pedestrian lines. They're trying to draft a plan for the town, create connectivity with the schools and the downtown so that everybody can access everything. But it's gonna take funding as well, and the town really has to go for it. You know, so we create a 10-year plan, we have to have a 10-year capital budget for that as well. But it also, you know, comes down to budgets, people vote on the budgets and people don't.
I think it's all a good idea. I think, you know, obviously, even in this list, there's priorities of things that you can do and things that you want to do and things that have to be done, but I think that the overwhelming kind of feeling here is, as soon as people start seeing anything starting to change, just things start, the signs getting picked up, a storefront opening, having Lori opening her studio, having just things beginning to change That's what I think the town really needs to see. Things are gonna change a bit without people getting pissed off at each other. Just have that starting to work somewhere. And, you know, the economy will be getting better, things will start happening. But, you know, that's the kind of feeling I think we have to get here, because I think everybody's ready for it to happen. And to what Jane was saying, and even what Ron was saying, just bingo, let's do something like every month, you know? I mean, some way where we kind of drive ourselves to figure every month we want to have something else show. So by Christmas, there's 9 things have been done this year.
Yeah, these guys are saying, make your own future. You have to make the market. Things might or might not get better, but you have to make the market for the town. Whether it's the market for shopping or the market for houses, you have to create it. And that's what this is about, helping to create a market for the historic houses, the events. I have, you know, there's different ways to organize this thing. My experience was best where a bunch of people came together and said, okay, we all have the same general objective, but I'm interested in doing this, and somebody else said, I'm interested in doing that. We didn't prioritize. If somebody was interested, that was the priority. If somebody was interested in doing something, we jumped on it.
Yeah, these are to be
And
in sequence, this can be in
facilitate.
parallel, you know? These can be all done in parallel, these are sequential. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna type this stuff up. Yes, sir.
I just want to say, because the room had a lot of people here when I got here, I came late, I thought it was at 7. We've lost about half of them. I think what's one very important thing to do tonight is, with the people who are here who care, let's at least get a half a dozen of us to volunteer and say we're gonna help get this thing forward. So I'll put my hand up and I'll volunteer to be on that small committee, but I think we need to, before we lose everybody, because it's getting late, we better get something to happen tonight to move this thing forward.
You gotta help me with your name.
Steve Buck.
Anybody else?
John?
Yeah, you know, also like if we have this meeting all the time, every couple of months, all the past couple of years, the problem is, you know, we have too many things to do in Clinton. How we should start? How we should start? Number one problem we have too many spaces, vacancy, we should bring businesses. How we can bring the businesses? Problem in the town is, if we do not have a planner. I would like to say thank you very much for you guys. You are all volunteer. Economic development, you are all volunteer. We don't have any power. How we could do things should be done in Clinton. We should be focused in how we should start, step by step. It's kind of hard. Town should have planner, or at least if you can do like a part-time planner. We are all volunteer. Thank you very much that you're saying I'm one of them. Also, what we can do. And we are like 10, 15 people. Number one, we don't have any power. We don't have any plan. We don't have any source. How we could do
That's why
something
we're having
better.
meetings like this.
Well, it's true, but there are some big things that have to be done in this town, and it's past the purview of what we can do here. I mean, this is really, we need a planner, it's not in the budget, they keep on asking for it in the budget, we don't get in the budget. So, I've heard that.
We have a consultant planner.
We have a consultant planner. So we have the planner, it's just, I'd like
You
to.
said one of the first things is to bring that gentleman Rod back
Right.
and that woman and do
Yes.
a walk around, so
Right.
at least these have a
Well,
dozen
I
people
would
can
look-
start
That's a
right
good
there.
idea.
Maybe we should do a walk around.
Yeah.
You know, you see things differently when you walk around your downtown.
I need your name.
Charlene Voice,
Charlene,
yeah, CHARLENE,
L-E-N-E.
yeah, Voice with a V-O-Y.
Do you want to be on?
Yeah.
But you're right, the walk,
Ron
yeah, Ron.
Borzari, B-O-R.
B-O-R?
Yeah, S-A-R-I.
Good. Because you represent landlords.
Right, I also, I restored a historical home.
Milestone?
Yeah, good.
Milestone.
Yeah, did a
Great.
great job.
You can put me on there, John.
Mr. Carr?
The milestone.
It can't be too, but this is really to ignite this thing now. It's like, start with a walk around, prioritize some things we're gonna do, lean on some people for some help, figure out how to communicate to certain people. It's really now managing this thing, or at least getting it started, you know?
I'd also like to nominate you.
He's up there.
Yeah,
Oh, are you on there? I didn't see that. Okay, good.
You still have to have a vision, he didn't like the idea of just a tagline, but I sort of do. you know?
I think we have to decide, I mean, you can't have a brand, you can't have a bunch of different things going on unless you know, does it all basically reflect what we want people to think of our town and our people? And that
We
you
should
need
be
that.
able to summarize what we think this town is about in maximum 3 sentences.
Yes.
Max.
I think we should do, that's part of what this committee we should do, we should build a
Absolutely.
brand position, brand attributes, you know, the whole kind of branding process, yeah.
Just throw me up there.
And your name?
Lise Gazillo.
Pardon?
Lise, L-I-S-E, Gazillo. G-A-Z-Z.
Right?
G-A-Z-Z-I-L-L-O. It's a good Irish name.
It is. It's from the west, it's from the south of Ireland.
You can put my name as,
Is it just Mary or Mary Ellen?
Well, yeah, legally it's Mary Ellen.
I just put Mary.
No, put Ellen, that's good, you did one thing. What, and Ellen?
What, Esquire or something in there?
No, no.
John, could put me at Chamber of Commerce at,
John, I need your last name spelling.
of Sandy, Hussani. Hussani.
A-I?
N-I, Hussein.
I'm involved in enough already, but
I mean, it's a pretty good group. I mean, you don't want to get it too large. I mean, you gotta be enough that we can actually argue and get something done.
Right, well, the other thing, you get it too large, you can never find a time
Yeah, I
everybody can
wouldn't
meet.
go
Right.
Because, write this up, did you, all these people's names on the list of how to get in contact with you? Sure. Ron?
There's a sign-up list if anybody missed it.
Excuse me, are you gonna publicize these meetings so those of us who can't be permanently on the committee could?
It's to be decided by the core group.
Yeah.
The other thing is,
the
what you
answer's
don't wanna do
yes.
is tell everybody what you're doing, because then everybody will start saying, wait a minute, we never get anything done.
Well, if you
John, can
don't
you
like
put-
it, come to the meeting and propose your option.
John, can you please
That's
put
the
Larry
answer.
over
Are
to?
you gonna have another meeting now to talk about, you know?
Yeah, what we're gonna do is we're gonna contact everybody that's in this meeting, this group, and we'll have a meeting to figure out, how are we gonna do this?
Okay.
I mean, how are we gonna plan it? The walk-around thing, how are we gonna do
Well, I
that?
think we should get in touch with that lady too and make a, have her come down.
Well, that's why I wanna shoot, I need Ron's information, you have
I
Ron's
haven't
contact.
shown it yet.
Basically,
No,
you can
the lady
touch
has
them.
one.
Can I put my name on, I'm gonna try to make all the meetings. Larry? Willett?
Willett?
O-U-E-L-L-E-T-T-E.
O-U?
E-L-L-E-T-T-E.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's good.
So we should try to get the walking thing set up.
The walking thing is the ignition, just really walk around the town with somebody that really knows what they're doing, which you do, I know, but just, and then we say, these are great
There's two
opportunities.
things. She focuses, she's a store, her thing is storefronts.
John, can we invite that, the one you mentioned that is, that he mentioned, invite us, we come in, the guy the one he left, right? That was, we should come there also, we should introduce in our town, go to downtown everywhere. We should do that too.
We'll try to get him, the guy Ron,
Yeah, the guy Ron.
Barry, don't leave him definitely.
Yeah,